I don't know. I haven't heard.
I've been hearing it time and time again. It seems like. Well, from
Oh,
like
you hear it more than I do then.
what? I'm sorry, Mike. The last part. What was the last part again?
Oh no, have you heard it? Have you been hearing about like mental health, how to take care of your mental health during this quarantine,
No,
during
no,
lockdown,
no,
how to
no,
prepare?
no, no.
No,
It's all.
right?
It's all been. No. It's all been. It's all been. It's all been the headlines that catch people's attentions. And I read an article 2 nights ago on. They call it. It was titled "The Children of COVID," and there was just an independent study that was done that was surveying. They started surveying at the beginning of the year in 2020 kids. Like they picked a certain demographic, and then um, they had their they got people to sign up for the study, so they had their controlled amount of people that were going to partake in the study, and they started surveying them from the start versus now. And like obviously we're seeing that it just doesn't make sense. It's like these kids through this experience, through this survey, was indicating like stuff we would expect. Like there's this more of an anxiety, more separation anxiety, more acting out, more overall fear. And it doesn't surprise me. Like I think one of the unique opportunities that we've had is that we've been able to actually sit back and kind of watch it kind of unfold. So as I'm watching it, I'm just like, you know, there's definitely something higher going on, but no one's talking about mental health. No one's talking about um, no one's talk. It's all, and dude, I come back to this at the end of the day is that it's just this. There's a transition happening, and it's like I say it to everyone all the time. Like, when's the last time you remember borders being shut down? When's the last time you remember curfews being up nationwide? When's the last time you remember any of this? No one can say they do because they don't, because it's the first time it's ever happened in history. Not even on September 11th did we have like the Canadian border shut down. So like I think that it's just like for me it's been frustrating to kind of see the propaganda that's come up that's blocking this greater overall thing that's happening in the background, which is transitioning, like we talk about. Like there's transitioning powers. Bretton Woods are calling for the new IMF agreement, and like that for me has been it's been difficult. But what I've been trying to also remember ultimately is that like I do feel like these technologies are being used as tools to like definitely manipulate us and people in a way for being almost more worried than we should be. Because if you go outside and you look around, you talk to your neighbors, everyone's feeling pretty much the same way. But like
Yeah,
we
bro.
feel
Yeah,
like we're
if
disconnected, but like I feel like the majority of people are feeling the same way, but they just don't know it because we're all siloed now and we're all like it's the devices that are like it's we're being controlled by a small group of people through devices that are able to control the masses. That's kind of what I feel like, at least. I don't know.
yeah, I think we're being controlled because if you see everything on the news every day you wake up, you see the same thing over and over. It's all these everything's feeding. Right now it's all shut down, COVID cases are going up, lockdown here, shut down there, vaccine stuff here. You don't hear a lot of politics as much as before because now Trump lost. So now it's like, all right, let's just now go all in on this COVID thing and just bombard everybody with fear and confusion. And pretty much that's where everybody's at. Because let me tell you what, when the elections happened, people were gathering, waiting for the results and in groups all over this, the United States. You had people all over, Washington Square Park, Times Square, places out in D.C. And when Biden was being announced, there was huge celebrations the next day, and you didn't see anything about, hey, they stopped that, lock that down. You can't spread the disease. But then for tomorrow, Thanksgiving, they are saying that you can't have more than 10 people here in New Jersey at home. I can't have more than 10 people in my house. for Thanksgiving because they said that that's going to spread the disease. Meanwhile, a couple weeks ago, you allowed all of these festivals and huge parties. You just allowed it because it fit your narrative. That's hypocrisy. Then, I'm not choosing sides here, but I could see what people on the right are saying that is hypocritical, what the left is doing. That's why they don't believe the narrative of COVID. And that's why I don't think the right, the Republicans, people that are Republicans or people that lean right, I don't think that they are ignoring the science because they're idiots. I think they're doing it because they see that the left and the media, which leans predominantly left, and everything that's going on, social media leans left. We could all see it. I don't give a fuck what side you're on, but it's obvious. They push it on you, and you just don't care. It's like when your parents, let's say, when there's like a girl, talk about, a girl in high school, her parents were so strict, they don't let her go out anywhere, and then that girl goes off to college and she becomes a wild person. She goes and does everything that's wrong, just in spite of what the parents said. That's what the Republican types of people are doing. They don't want to wear masks because they are being told, wear your mask, this, and that. And they're like, fuck that. Like, I see you guys always rioting, protesting for any little thing. I see you guys getting in assemblies of people and nobody says anything. But I can't go, to the beach or to here or to there without a mask. So I see that. I wear my mask. I'm not the type that doesn't wear my mask, but I'm not going to wear my mask everywhere I walk. Outside. To me, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's pretty difficult because we have, all right, so what I'm comparing right now to mostly is I feel like I had a unique opportunity to go and talk to these kids in a high school locally about the book The Lord of the Flies. And this was like in January of last year, dude.
It was before everything.
It was right before everything began. And like, it's so incredible because the conversations we had in that class, the presentation I gave, we were trying to draw a connection between, the question was, are people inherently savage? And what I was trying to draw a connection to in that is historically we've seen people do things that they may not want to do, or they don't consciously know what they're doing, but like as time goes on and as situations change, they change as a person. So like, are people born savage? No, I don't believe so, but our experiences evolve us. And I tried to tie it very close to the World War II period. Just talking about the last major global conflict that we saw, where like entire populations of people were just like totally just like under this kind of brain control.
But think of it, what is savage anyway? What does savage mean?
That's a good point.
Think of that, right? To me, what it means to society, right? Let's say back then, especially Western, more of like Europeans would think of savage as someone that's not European, that are indigenous, that don't have the education that they believe is correct, that they live a certain type of way. To them, that's savage. To us, we still think that in the same light. But honestly, what's savage?
So
what is
for
that?
For this book's sake, it was that they turned violent and then they ended up killing a kid on the island. So like the plane, like the story goes, so there's a plane that crashes over the, I don't know if you've read this, Mike, and I actually listened to the Spark.
I haven't read it.
All right, I listened. So like plane crashes over the island, and then there's a bunch of kids that get washed ashore on this island, and it's like day one. And there's like 15, 20, 30 of them, and then this one logical leader comes out, and he starts like, you know, disseminating the information, like, okay, we need to do this, we need to prepare, and it's all logical, like stuff that at least that you would think if you landed, maybe you would want to do. And people listened, the kids listened on day one. But then as time went on, and like, you know, they got hungrier, the situation turned worse, people were starting to turn desperate. Then there was a second leader, a second person of the group that came up that was more irrationally thinking, like kind of like the wild plans and stuff. But this other leader, this irrational leader, who wanted to, I forget the exact details, but essentially it was like his way didn't work. We're gonna go do it this way. That's much different. And he started getting people to actually join him in the group, because the group think was starting to change. Like people were starting to like get out of their comfort zone, get out of their bubble. Like they were, you know, day 1 you're fat and happy, day 15 you're like a little hungry and you're starting to get a little worried, and they weren't thinking irrationally. And then the second irrational leader ends up taking like a majority of the people, and they stop following the rational leader, who's trying to like the whole time get them to do shit just to get signaled and stuff. And the irrational group ends up like killing, because they went after this one kid in the group or something. And then the end of the story though ends. I'm gonna ruin it for everyone. I'm gonna ruin it for you too if you haven't read it. But it ends where you know, they end up getting saved, and then like this boat washes ashore, and they get saved, and they all start crying. And that's how the book ends, is like they start crying when they realize everything they've done. And like the question is like, were they bad people to start, or did they just like change through experiences and become humans essentially? And it's crazy, dude, because all those kind of books were all written around that, like Orwell, like Lord of the Fly. These were all written around the last time we see that. And I'm like, I feel like I'm slowly seeing that in a way right now, and that kind of bothers me a little bit.
Well, the problem is that we have certain judgments of what evil is and what evil isn't.
Mm.
You know, what is it? You know, is it measurable? Is everyone evil? That's why I am more of the yin and yang type of person. I believe that you need to have both. You need to have both to survive, right? You need to understand both the bad and the good.
Mm.
If you're only good, you're not gonna survive. I'm sorry, there's no such person that I believe that is 100% just good and has no ounce of bad in them, and be able to survive in a world that is so, like you said, savage. And even, you know, I even think, you know, babies are born savage. You know why? I believe there's savagery in everyone if there needs to be. Look, what happened in the Lord of the Flies that made people become, like you said, savage, was the lack of resources.
Mm.
When you have abundance, there's no need to be savage. If your belly's full, right? If you're warm, clothed, sheltered, you know, you have a strong circle, a good community, no need to be savage, right? You have everything. But start take away shelter, take away the food, the water, the warmth, the clothing, take that away, and leave that, you know, be without for a while. Then you'll go back to your roots. You'll become savage. You'll act savage.
Dude, I feel like one thing that I like about you and the other like vets that I know and stuff is that like it's so unique to have the experience of seeing just how like other human beings can become when they become human beings. Like just when it's me versus you, life versus death, my family versus your family. Like, yeah, you have groups and cliques that stay together, but like when you take the human down to the human, what the human becomes, like they totally change through the experience. And I like, you know, I feel like that's something in my life that's happened that's been unique. That like, I feel like a lot of people in this country don't get it. I feel like what we experience in this country, especially right now, it's not happening in other countries. And maybe that's because those people in other countries are just more aware to how reality is. But like, you know, this book, like you think about it, an American that's only grown up in America since like since World War II, really, has only really had this one happy bubble of like whatever, and then like I feel like
America's full of abundance.
yeah,
I don't care. Even if you're even if you're homeless, you have abundance. I've known super rich people. I've talked to super rich people. I'm friends with some that are pretty rich, and then I've known very poor people talking about dirt poor, talking about recently arrived in America poor, and the ones that come recently to America. Those I love the conversations with them because they tell me, man, like you could be poor like you guys say here, and that's more rich than what I had back home. When I was in Iraq, when you were in Afghanistan, how many people worked that were from Bangladesh that worked in the kitchens and the defects and all that?
the barber shop and stuff. Yep.
Look, when I was in Iraq in 2008, I was over there for 15 months. It gave me a lot of time to network, and I love networking. I love meeting people, knowing people. I don't care who you are. You're a good person. We vibe right. We're friends.
Yep.
I used to talk to people from Pakistan, Bangladesh, India, Sri Lanka, and they would tell me the way it was back home. And then they would talk about how they see, how it is with us. And then I would talk and I would ask questions, and then I would think about back home. And then I would start to think, it's like, man, we complain so much that we don't have anything. Even when we were in Iraq, we still had so much more than the same people that we were, amongst in the country of Iraq that didn't have anything. Us as soldiers, that we complained, damn, we only have water to drink. And I mean, maybe, look, when I was in Basra in 2008, which was the second biggest city in the south of Iraq, we took over a British base, FOB, and it had an airport, and the British needed to pull out, so we took over. We didn't have an American defect. We had a British defect, and the British defect, the food was actually in my opinion, was a little better in some type of aspects, but they didn't have sodas, juices. They only had some Gatorade that had no flavor and water.
They have that thick bacon there. Was that British?
Yes, yes, they had that ham.
Did the beans? Bacon. It was, and then the beans for breakfast and stuff, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And
I was with Australians, so I feel like
that's what they had, and I would be, and I would talk to the people from Bangladesh, and they would tell me how they lived. And pretty much what little they used to have. And I was like, Jesus, like in America, if you could live in the South Bronx, Compton, Detroit, and live harsh, in either in a shelter, in the streets. But let me tell you what, you have a high probability of filling your belly. It's hard. I'm not gonna say it's not, but compared to those countries, they couldn't find. There was nothing. People had nothing, and that shows you that in America we have abundance. So we look at savagery more, I guess, strongly. We look at it more strongly because that's why we criticize Africa. Well, I don't, but you know what I mean. People, the way they live or the way they do in Latin America and in Southeast Asia or in the Middle East. I'm like, well, they don't have anything over there. And when they start to have something, somebody comes and tries to take it, or America comes and tries to take it, or China, like they're doing in Africa. Like right now, Africa has so many resources. They have the resources to be the richest continent in the world. Each nation and even their tribes should be able to have more than enough, but because they continue to be pillaged and abused, look how they live.
Yeah,
they and people call them savage. They're not savage. Why? Because they can't have a vegan diet, and they have to kill. and eat the food raw sometimes, or this or that. It's all about perception. And I look at it as, I was told there's no such thing as heat or cold. There's no such thing as hot or cold. It's just how much energy is in something. That's all it is. You take out the energy, it gets cooler.
I've been learning
Put
that
in more energy, it gets warm.
I've been learning that with the breathing exercises. In the cold,
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
It's producing energy from within. It's not necessarily cold out there. That's why Wim Hof's like a crazy motherfucker, because it's just like, it's not necessarily like the body isn't, the bodies of the people that are like practicing this stuff, they're taking longer to get something like frostbite, hypothermia, all that shit. And it's like, but we know this from even like the yogis and everyone does meditation. Like, they can control and regulate body temperature just by like breathing and meditating, and then using like controlling the autonomic nervous system.
They're the most intelligent type of people. They understand their bodies.
And they even say, dude, that like the people that have, as we've become more like colonialized, and as we've gone away from nature and the natural body and the cold and the elements, we have become these animals that are just, most of the inflammatory diseases that they say exist today are specifically because it's an imbalance between the parasympathetic and the parasympathetic. You have two nervous systems essentially.
Yeah.
One for like the I need to fight the lion situation, and then and then one for the calming down kind of side. And they say, and there's like an imbalance that happens, and bringing it back to balance is the way to fight a lot of the anti-inflammatory disorders. So
that's why veterans struggle so much, because exactly the PTSD, your fight or flight is so elevated.
So great.
It's elevated to a point that it's not used to, and then it gets used to, right? Let's say you're over there, you're patrolling.
Yeah.
Your adrenaline gets high. It becomes high, but you don't notice it because you already got used to it. And then when you face certain situations, it goes higher, and then that becomes normal. And it's like a car's engine. It's like a car going at 140 miles per hour on the Autobahn. Imagine you're driving 150 miles per hour every day for a year on the Autobahn, and no problem. But you're driving, it's no problem. You become used to it. And then you go back to America and you have to drive 55 miles per hour. Wouldn't you feel weird,
dude?
Driving.
I feel like you just painted the picture of my life over the last, it's true.
That's what that's how I feel about myself.
I never drew a connection though to like the actual combining the two, what I know now, to the nervous system though. Like I haven't up until you just said that thought about the fact that like the one side of the nervous system that's for the fight or flight, the adrenal glands, the stress hormones, is more active consistently than the other side, which is the calming, the blood pressure reduction, all that shit. And it's because of the deployment. And because like I've always known that obviously my the situational awareness, you're always on that peaking level no matter what, even if you're just in the barracks and stuff, or you're back after patrol or whatever. But I guess I've never actually looked at that from what I know now from the nervous system and the imbalance that happens. Like,
yeah, bro, when you're doing something for more than 3 months, if you start waking up at 5 a.m. for 3 months straight, you're going to automatically wake up at 5 a.m. because you already accustomed your body. That's what they usually say. About 3 months, your body gets used to, if you start working out at 5 a.m. for about 3 months, after those 3 months, you're golden, right?
Yep.
Well, imagine if you're overseas and you're in Iraq or Afghanistan or any war-torn country, or a cop, right? It could be here. It could be a cop, or just, or you could even be a gangster.
True.
Whatever it is that keeps that high, to then just be normal as the average person around you, it's really hard. because now you overreact about everything because your body is used to that level. So that's something that it's hard for us to try to fix. With me, it's been an issue because I've been in many situations, even outside of the military. I was in a cruise ship accident, and talk about savagery, right? You were talking about how
Mike.
people become savages.
Yeah,
Bro,
yeah.
what really, because when you're overseas, you learn about people, right? Because you're in war, and you see how you can't trust people because you don't know, you don't know if this, let's say in Iraqi, sometimes you'll meet Iraqis and you don't know if they could be, if they're well intentioned or not, and you're always doubting. You're always being like, is this the guy that's just gonna start popping shots at us? Is this interpreter? Is this guy doing this? There's all these things, right?
Yeah.
You see how people live, and you see how people look at you. Everything is suspicious, everything. And when somebody's extra nice to you, I'm usually like, I don't trust this guy. And now get out of war and then go into a normal world of abundance, right? So like myself, I went to a cruise ship, a luxury cruise ship with abundance, and you wouldn't think that anything crazy would happen aside, right, from what actually happened. Now, something does happen, so like the cruise ship, right, crashes and there's chaos. There's no leadership. It turns into like the Lord of the Flies, right? Nobody says abandon ship. Everybody lied, saying that all the leaders said that nothing was going on, right? So 2012, January 13th, 2012, Costa Concordia ship off the coast of Giglio in Italy. Ship hits the side of an island, slices all of the three hulls. Well, there's 4 on the ship, but slices 3, fills the compartments with water. I'm eating dinner, and we feel a shake, and the ship shakes, and then it shakes more. And then I remember I say, wow, must be rough waters, is what I said. Not when there was guests next to us, eating at this restaurant. At the restaurant called what's the name of, I think it was Mina, something like that.
I feel like people feel like I can picture myself in that setting right now, like because I've been on cruise. So like
exactly. So imagine you're in front of me, like right now, you're in front of me, right? And the people next to your right, there's about 2 families because we're sitting at this long table. And I'm over here, and there's more people. There's people from Spain next to me, a family from Spain, and there was some Italians. Everybody, the majority of the people were from Europe. There was very little Americans there. So then I said, oh man, it must be rough waters. And that was actually next to me was a newlywed couple from Massachusetts. They were actually from Worcester, Massachusetts, which was funny because I lived there for about a year, and became friends with them on the ship and used to hang out, in different ports. So this happens, right? And then when I say that, the ship feels like it crashes. It feels literally like another boat just hit us, like another ship crashed into us. It felt like if you're driving in a car and you start to slow down and you stop and a car just comes and hits you, and that shake.
So was there like jagged shakes into it, or was it like a boom? Like
it was
like you're grinding into that, or what? Like
no, bro, I'm telling you, it was like this. It was movies. The ship moved, and then it moved a little more, and then it moved and then you could feel like all the dishes and stuff, all the plates moving, and then boom, like a crash, like somebody came and hit us.
Wow.
And I was like, I'm like, oh my God, we hit a boat. We hit a ship. Because this was the biggest cruise ship in the world. And the way it felt like if I was driving my car and somebody hit me.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, damn, for a ship to hit like that, I did not think about land, because the path that we were supposed to go on, there was no land. I study maps. I love maps.
Yeah.
Even in the military, maps was everything to me. I love maps. Since I was little, I used to study maps.
So
Total map nerd.
So you knew the route.
I knew the freaking route.
Yeah.
I knew the route, and the island was close to the route, but it was not part of our path.
And there's no icebergs out there.
Exactly.
Right?
There's no icebergs.
Yeah.
And there was no reason.
Yeah.
So the only thing I could think of is that it was another like a ship or something like that, and then when that happens, right, the whole ship shakes hard, that huge crash, and then it starts to rock. But everything's moving. Everyone's yelling. The lights start to flicker and turn off. It becomes total chaos, and then it stays silent. And then you hear noises of metal and and everyone's in this panic, and I'm like, fuck this. Gotta go upstairs and get the life vest.
Yeah.
Everybody else was like, oh no, it's fine, we're fine. Everybody on the radio was like, oh, everything's fine. It was just the generator blew out. I was like, fuck no, there's no
yeah, I've been near the loudest generators in the fucking world. That was no generator.
Bro, get the fuck out of here. What type?
Yeah.
What we're talking about? A generator like Chernobyl?
They move the boat.
Yeah, we have nuclear generators in here? No. All right, there's something happened. Or so what? Fucking ran while everybody was in denial, bro. Everybody was in denial. The people next to me, I was like, you have to go. And they were like, no, everything's fine, nothing's wrong. That whole incident, I analyze it over and over again. I remember the faces of the people that I spoke with in that situation, how they reacted. And it just shows to me that humans, technically, humans are domesticated so much that it's hard for them to survive situations because they've been in the shelter. They've been, people of abundance.
Yeah.
I'm talking to you that, we look at the demographics of the ship. They're all Western European people, majority are, and of well means. They had, good means to, this ship was an expensive ship.
Yeah.
And they had to have good means to be on it. So you had that class of people on there, probably living a great life, maybe. I'm not sure their personal situations, but I'm sure that they had abundance in their life. So I start to see people in denial, people scared. They didn't want to move. They were sheep waiting for instruction. Me, I was on the go.
Yeah.
I was on the go. I was running, looking for my room. I went right to the room. I got my IDs. I got the fucking life vest. I got a fucking my jacket / coat. It was like it's like an overcoat. It's like a pea coat.
Yep.
That
Yep.
Because I knew it was gonna be cold. And then I ran upstairs to the top to look at see outside, but it was nighttime and I couldn't see anything. And let me tell you what.
Was there like, did you know where to go for like a station or anything? Was there any of that pre-book?
No. Oh, okay. I did know. Okay, so check this out. I knew what muster duty station I needed to go to because I still have my emergency card.
I see. So you looked at your card and you just knew exactly. You pre-gamed, you like board gamed it almost, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. And the thing is, I was supposed to do the muster. I guess in the beginning of each cruise, you're supposed to go through that. But this company, Costa, super negligent on everything.
I think they made it a law. That was an international law after that happened. Dude, when I met you, it was a week after I saw the documentary on it. I watched the documentary on it because I was going to my first cruise, and I was like, oh, Costa Concordia. And then we showed up at that summer class, and then I was like, who's been on a cruise? I have. Oh, I'm going on my first one. Mine sunk. Like, what the fuck? And then I remember them saying that was like, there was now, and then I've taken cruises since then, and now it's like mandatory where they need to do the muster calls, just so everyone knows. Well, not that but here's the thing though, like, maybe it'll help, but like what you're saying, it sounds like it's just like, it's like the Titanic. It's like humans are just going to be humans kind of thing, right?
Yeah, humans are going to be humans. And at the end of the day, humans were humans. And when you have, look, Costa, this is how it works. the company Costa only cares about money.
Mm.
And when you care about money as a corporation and you don't care about anything else about safety and all that, then you do many things that might become unethical. Seems like that was what they were doing.
Yeah.
They were supposed to do the training, the mustard stuff when you get on the ship. That's their policy. They're supposed to. Everybody's supposed to.
Mm.
But I got on late because they didn't even know I was on the manifest. So I got, bro, I wasn't supposed to be on that ship. Honestly, bro, because I'm a hardhead. When I bought the ticket, I was planning to go on the ship I wanted to go on the ship for over a year.
Mm.
So once I got out of the military and I finished my automotive technology program thing that I was in, I was like, all right, first vacation, going on this. Had all the money. I was like, so I went to go buy the tickets and sold out of Barcelona. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I gotta go. So I checked the day before, it actually stops in Marseille, France.
Mm.
So I was like, fuck it. I'm going to buy it because I already bought the plane tickets. I bought the plane tickets before I bought the ship tickets, which was a mistake. But I was like, fuck it. I'll land.
That's a nice ass area if you were going to stay, though.
Yeah, it doesn't fucking matter, right? But, yeah, because it's fucking south of France. And so, I was like, fuck it. I'll take the ship from Marseille and I'll stay in Barcelona for a couple days until I could go and get to Marseille. And I'll buy the plane tickets to fly to Marseille. So bought the plane tickets first to Barcelona. And then I got the tickets for the ship. And then I bought the ticket from the flight from Barcelona to Marseille. And then went and did it, right? Went to Barcelona, had a great time, stayed there a couple days, loved it, flew into Marseille. When I got there, I read that they're supposed to have representatives at the airport waiting for you, right? To direct you onto the bus, to take you to the port.
Oh, yeah.
Bro, they didn't have anything. And I asked around, and this is look, the Marseille airport is a regional type of airport. It's like the one in Hartford, Connecticut.
So French speaking, no English, like, you know.
Yeah, no English, is all French speaking.
We'll figure it out. You're a soldier at that time, like, yeah, you know.
Yeah, so I was taking French in college, so I was prepared to learn to try to do simple stuff.
Yep.
And everyone's like, no, that they're not here. So I took a cab and I went to the port because I asked, and what's the port? Do they usually get out of the port? And they're like, yeah, this is the name of the port. Right? And so I took the cab driver, and the cab driver knew Spanish. So I would speak to him in Spanish because he had an ex-Dominican girlfriend. So he learned Spanish with her.
Was he a French guy?
Yeah, a French guy.
French guy. Yeah. Look.
His Dominican girlfriend was from New York, and he knew Spanish pretty well. So
yeah.
He's like, yeah, we'll check at the port. And so we drove all the way to the port, which was like half an hour from the airport. Yeah. That shit cost me an arm and a leg.
Yeah.
Got to the fucking port, and the ship's not there. I'm like, what the fuck? No one told me that the ship left, because that's a lot of money I would have lost.
Yeah.
So I get there and I see like a representation of Costa and representatives, and I talk to them, and they're like, oh, that the ship is actually in the town of Toulouse, which is like 50 minutes out.
Yeah.
Doesn't get out from them. I was like, well, nobody fucking told me this. Nobody went to pick me up, and they were looking at the manifest. They're like, you're not on the manifest. I was like, well, I have the proof right here.
Yeah.
So they had the last bus was coming. And then they put me on that bus, and I went to Toulouse. And then got there. Beautiful seaside fucking port city, man. Gorgeous. It was beautiful. And then this big-ass ship. And I was like, great. Got to the ship, and they were, like, confused. I was like, yeah, I'm supposed to be on this ship. And they're like, oh, we don't know. Bro, they brought me on. They didn't check my bags for security. I could have brought guns and shit. They never checked.
You never got those back.
Yeah,
keep going.
No, they take my passport. They take your passports in Europe on their ships. So they take your passport.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And keep it. which becomes an issue later on. So I go and usually cruise ships, they take your luggage and they bring it to your room to make it all easy.
Yep.
Bro, this ship, I'm telling you, was disorganized. So off the bat, I knew there was an issue with the company. I know this. I was like, yo, this company is a shit show.
Yeah.
It's like flying like the world. It's like flying Spirit Airlines. It felt.
Yeah, that's a really good analogy.
Yeah, I'm like, what the
Yeah.
fuck?
Yeah.
Like, this is supposed to be this big deal of a ship,
Yeah.
and this is how they're managing shit. I was like, it's Europe. These people won't go. It's Italy, bro. You know how Italians are. You're Italian.
Yeah.
Over there is like the Buena
Easy,
Vida.
hey,
Whatever.
yeah. He brings his own bags up. We got the room over there.
Yeah, it's okay. Yo, that's the attitude. And okay, get on the ship. We got the first day. Go all over the Caribbean: Sicily, Sardinia, Mallorca, Barcelona again. You got all these cities, and Rome. Then I go to Rome and all that, and then after Rome, when I leave Rome, get on the ship. That's when everything happened. And now fast forward the crash. I'm on top of the ship, and I'm looking around to see what the fuck we hit or what hit us, and I don't see anything. It's pitch black.
Yeah.
So I still don't know what the fuck's going on because I don't see a ship.
Yep.
I don't see an island.
Yep.
What the hell's going on? Now the documentary that you saw showed that when it sliced it, all the water came in and it turned off the generators, and the ship lost power, and it started to go adrift, and then it started to go off into the ocean, into the sea.
Yep.
It started to go away.
Yep.
And it was going more towards, further into the Mediterranean. So you couldn't see the island. So I was perplexed, and I was like, so there's something wrong. So I went to the muster station, and I get there. There's it's only like 2-3 guys. There's one guy, he's German. He's a young German guy, tall, big German dude, mad cool.
You guys look at each other like, are we thinking the same kind of thing?
Yeah, we're like, yep, something's wrong. And we're like, yep. It's like, we're staying right here.
Yeah.
And then, bro, the boat's going like this, the ship.
Yeah. Wow.
It's moving like this. Right? Like if you make a paper boat and you put it in a lake, go like that. Yeah. No, this is a ship the size of a skyscraper in a way. It's like a tall building. Imagine a tall building just shaking. You'd probably be like, yo, that motherfucker's gonna tip over. That's what I was wondering. I was like, yo, this ship's gonna tip over.
Yeah.
Too much weight.
Yeah.
The way it's moving.
Yeah.
All this thing going through my mind.
Yeah.
And now somehow the ship starts to tilt. And it starts to tilt towards starboard. I'm on port side. So it starts to tilt, bro. And I'm like, what the fuck? Slowly. And then it's like people start to come. And they're like, at first it said, everybody go into your rooms, stay in your rooms. And then they were like, people were like, fuck that. And now everyone's like, something's wrong because the ship's tilting. And everybody starts to come into the fucking lifeboats. Now it's fucking full. Yeah. I'm telling you, it's like a stadium. It's full.
Yeah.
Everyone's pushing each other. Yeah. Everyone's shaking. Everyone's anxious. Everyone's looking at each other with the eyes like this.
Yeah.
Some people just looking down. I'm like, yo, we got to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And then, everyone's like, how can we get on the lifeboat? We can't. It's not like you could just jump on the lifeboat because you got gates there. It's the lifeboat. It's the size of a fucking boat. It's huge.
Yeah. Was it enclosed or was it open air kind of thing?
They're slightly enclosed, so slightly enclosed as a shell and all of that. So finally, they say abandoned ship, and it wasn't the captain that said it. They say abandoned ship, and then the employees. Not all the employees were there, but some of them, and they start to open, and everybody starts to rush in. People that weren't even they're supposed to be in that's everyone's supposed to go to their stations. Bro, it was a free for all. Yeah. When they opened the gates, you saw grandma-looking women pushing little girls out of the way, like 3-year-old girls pushing them, like get out of my way. I'm getting into that.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what the fuck? I was the first one there. I was the last one in it, and I was in total like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And me and the German and my ex and all that, we started to push people and push the kids inside.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck is going on, bro? Total savagery. That's savagery.
Yeah.
Take away the security, that safety net, people become fucking savage. And that showed to me that people have evil in them. Everybody has an evil, and I don't say like demonic. I mean like everybody has that darkness, that animal. The animal will come out. You put a dog in the corner, he's gonna fucking bite.
Yeah. Mike, did you find, like, at that time, because, like, I feel like you kind of fell in this category of people that had awareness, and, like, when you were looking around, could you see the difference between, like, the leaders and the followers, or, like, people, was there, like, civilians that were, like, trying to step up and actually kind of direct people kind of thing, or was it, like, what was it, what was that like with that? Because I'm thinking of the Titanic almost, you know, like, literally.
There was people that were trying to calm some people down.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't, you know, I remember in my section, like, you know, like my ex and I, we were, you know, leading people. We were like making sure that we were like in the army.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, we were making sure that but once those life things opened, it was a free for all. And then, you know, the German guy guy was big. So he was able to like really like, hey, push back and pick the kids up, make sure it goes to the parents, because the parents were losing their kids, man. There was hundreds of people around, hundreds, and there was only like 5 fucking lifeboats.
Yeah, yeah.
So everyone, and then, you know, and I get on. Now once I'm on, and the guy of the employee, he doesn't understand how to even bring the thing down. So now I have to help him to try to bring this thing down. So, and then we start to come down, and bro, the thing went free fall. Because think of it, right? The ship's like this. This is a ship, right? Yeah. And then you got right here the lifeboats hanging on side, right? But now when the ship's like this, lifeboats are like this still. So when you come down, you know, the lifeboats, when they're supposed to get launched, it will go like, you know, the machine goes like that and it'll drop it. But now the ship's like this, so when the machine goes like that, you don't have much. You know, so when we were coming down,
scraping on the side, pretty much.
Yes. So it almost, when it came a free fall like a couple feet, you know, like I think like 5 feet, it free falled and then it hit the side and then it almost flipped. Like they almost went like that, and we would have some people would have fell off of the lifeboat.
Yep.
And then the one next to us, that motherfucker really like fell hard and crashed, and people got injured. Like we could hear the people crying and screaming, like in pain.
Yeah.
But in ours, we got stuck, and then we had to use the stuff that, you know, they're like there were these poles. I don't know what these poles were for, but that's what we used to give leverage and continue to come down. And then until we fucking made it, bro. And people were fucking so panicked. I started to sing songs. I was singing fucking songs on the lifeboat to calm the people down. Because I was, you know, what else? You know, you gotta find a way to distract.
What did you sing?
I'm trying to remember. What I saw. I did record.
Okay. Yeah. So I recorded so just like you found, but you found that music was a way to soothe everyone. Did they?
I found that
did they participate? Like, did they actively participate, or like, what was that like?
I felt like some were like, you know, trying to participate.
Yeah.
And, you know,
different languages too, dude. Are they listening to your English?
Yeah,
like, hey, I don't know what he's saying. Like,
I don't remember what the fuck I sang, bro.
Yeah.
That's a good question. I gotta figure out if I have a video with that. I recorded one, you know, once we actually were in water.
So when you were coming down though on the side, so you said like you guys use these poles. Well, like how many people was involved with that process of actually like trying to like
3 people.
So like explain. Can you explain? So you were essentially shimmying yourself down the side of this like cruise ship, pretty much, right?
Yeah, we were shimmying, and then once we had good leverage, the employee that knew a little bit, he was able to then, work the machine and bring it down, turn on the engine, and get the fuck out of there before one of the other lifeboats fall on us.
Yeah.
And then
Dude,
we were in the water. And then from there, we were left to our own devices, like, pretty much.
It's insane, man, because, like, I feel like the only thing that I've seen comparatively to, no, I've never seen anything like that, but, like, you watch the movie Titanic. How much would you say the movie Titanic actually, like, played in a reality in that situation?
Look, the Titanic it's similar. Okay, 50%, 60% is very alike.
I'm thinking the lifeboat. I'm thinking the lifeboat scene specifically right now, where the guy ends up shooting himself on the side of the boat and stuff because everyone's just rushing in, like.
Exactly. So the Titanic, it's way worse because the Titanic was in fucking Arctic. They didn't have any land close to them. Technology was lacking compared to us now, and they sunk it. They were in the middle of the water.
Yeah.
What saved us was that the ship was brought back by the wind onto the shore of the island. So, like on that documentary, I think it was the Marine Institute of Technology in Massachusetts or Rhode Island. One of those. They did all of the mapping and they showed what happened, and the wind did bring it back.
I saw, and then it pushed it back on that reef right there, right?
Exactly. So if that reef and that wouldn't have happened, then it would have been probably exactly like fucking Titanic, 100%, because we would have been in the middle of the ocean or the sea.
Yeah.
But in this part, it was almost like it. And the part of the people fighting to get on the lifeboats, the people panicking, the lifeboats getting fucked up, flipping, people jumping into the ocean, to the water, trying to swim. Some people drowned, but it was 30-some people that died, not thousands, like, or, I don't remember how many people died on the Titanic, but, it could have been like that. But very similar situations.
I'm like,
the ship, Titanic broke.
Yeah.
The ship didn't break. It just.
Yeah. I'm thinking primarily of the lifeboat scenes, dude, because there's the scene that I'm remembering from the deck and the chaos, like you're saying. But there's also a scene where, just like you guys, the lifeboat was shimmying down the side of the boat, and the guys were literally with oars. They were trying to, like, shimmy it off the side. Like, I feel
it was like that.
That's like the picture that's like the picture I'm painting right now. And
it was like that.
In the Costa Concordia, I remember that documentary. Like, they showed at night, like, there was still people, like, walking down ladders off the side of the boat, pretty much, right? Like, going.
Yeah, they were still stuck.
Because you guys were close enough to the shore where, like, people eventually started kind of swimming over there or whatever. Like, I can't imagine.
Yeah, the ones that were on starboard.
Yeah.
Because remember, right? You have the ones on starboard, so on the ship.
Yep.
I'm over here in port side. I'm looking at the air. It's super high.
Yeah.
These people, the fucking water is touching their feet.
Yeah.
Because it's so tilted, right? So a lot of people were like, "Oh shit, I see it. I could get it to there.
Yeah.
Fuck this," and they started to jump.
Yeah.
But it was January.
Yeah.
It was fucking cold.
Yeah.
At night.
Yeah.
In the fucking sea. This is not off the coast slightly.
Yeah.
This is literally like 100 miles off of mainland Italy, right next to this little island out there. Well, those waters were cold. Those people got hypothermia. I remember.
So you guys got to the island. I remember in the documentary they were saying, like, it was like you're saying, like, it was a little island, like, people. It's not like a rescue crew was waiting there, right? Like, did the locals kind of rally together a little bit and try to, like, help you guys out? What happened from there?
A lot of people took shelter in the local church. The church, opened, and I don't remember them even giving us food. Like, they didn't give us food. Some locals helped, maybe some individuals, but I don't remember the church actually doing, trying to feed people, and I don't know if they actually had anything to do that because that just happened. But at least we had shelter until something was figured out. And I had money, so I went to. They had a little local market they opened like little shop, and I bought some chips. That was my dinner. And then they started to divide people up depending on how they got on the ship. You know, like I came through France, so they put me with the French group. They did a mistake. They were supposed to put me with the Americans that to go back to Rome because the embassy was going to help all the Americans that were on it.
Yep.
Well, I was supposed to be with them, but they fucked it up. They sent me with the French.
Yeah.
So they sent me into the town of Grosseto. The town of Grosseto, and got to the port. They, they checked us like the Italian like Red Cross and all of that was there. They checked us, whatever the fuck, and then they put us on a bus to go to Marseille. And we went on this fucking bus ride.
Where you came from?
Yeah, exactly where I came from. And the thing is, like, we're on the western coast of Italy.
Oh my God.
That shit's like 20 hours.
Yeah.
And we're on a bus, and we have stops.
Oh.
So we had to do stops. So we stopped in Monaco. We stopped in Nice, which Nice and Monaco is not too far from each other. And we had to do those stops, and which was great because, fuck, it's beautiful. You get to look around and see. So, I try to enjoy the most I could out of the trip. I try to take Europe in. I love Europe. Europe is one of my favorite places in the world.
Yeah.
So I was just taking it all in. And then, we get to Marseille, and then there, you had the French media, you had the French, when we crossed into France, when we went into the border, the French Red Cross came and they checked us again.
Oh, okay.
They gave me meds because I hurt my leg.
Mm-hmm.
And I became friends with the paramedic, the French paramedic. He was asking me about like New York and all of that. Really cool. Got us some food. He took us to to get because I was like, I'm hungry.
Yeah.
And then went back to the bus once we were good to go. This was this is in Nice, and then this was after like Monaco. Bro, the French cared more about their people than the Italians cared about theirs.
Mm.
Like
so
when we got back,
they were pretty much waiting with open arms, kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, the French was like, they were like, what, like making sure everything. Like, are you guys good? Like everything. They were, and then they gave us like they did like a convoy. Like, when you get back from Iraq or Afghanistan, they put you on the buses. You got the military. You got the police bring you in.
Yep.
That's what they did with us.
Like a motorcade.
And then we got after Nice and all of that, we got to Marseille, and then got to the hotel. We got the media. We got all this craziness outside of. They put us in this hotel, this beautiful brand new hotel in Marseille, and the media is trying to like interview me, but I speak a little French. I told them I'm American, I ne parle français and all this shit, and I didn't really. Anyway, I didn't want to talk. I was tired.
Yeah.
So I went to sleep. The next day, chaos, bro. The media was all over the damn hotel. They just wanted to interview everybody they could, and they were like, it was crazy, bro. It was like a movie.
Yeah.
And then I didn't have any counsel. There was nobody there to represent me. I was just an American lost within the French.
Yeah.
The French had their, the government, their personnel helping them out. I didn't have anybody. So I got on the phone. I called the consulate in Marseille and told them, and this gentleman from one of the I think he's one of the high administrators. He's a resident from the consulate office. I forgot what was his position. I think I have his card still. I don't remember the name.
They spread out these consulate people to pretty much take care of Americans if they need to overseas. Like they're like, we got representative almost, like that kind of thing. Yeah.
So you got the American consulate, and a lot comes out of there. The embassy is in Paris. So I reached out, and this gentleman, I think his name was Philip. He came and he met with me. I told him everything what happened. Told him, I was fucking broke. then he was like, well, he's gonna talk, he's gonna speak for me. He went and spoke for me with the company, with the people there from the cruise ship that were there, and he asked him for money. He's like, you got to give the money. He don't got,
Right.
he has no luggage.
Because it's in the
yeah,
Mediterranean.
Bro, I have no luggage. I have no.
Oh
The
my
only clothes
God.
is what I have on, and my passport. They have my passport on that ship.
Yeah.
It was everybody's passports were there. So how the fuck am I supposed to get back to America? And then my flight originally was out of Barcelona. So I'm supposed to get to Barcelona because I was supposed to be in Europe for about 3 weeks. I was already there for a little over a week, and I was already a little over a week in Europe. So I was supposed to, after the cruise, I was supposed to go to Ibiza, which I already had all that paid, and then I was supposed to go back to Barcelona and do a couple more things on the western coast, and then fly back. All of that, was done with. I couldn't do that, but I needed to get back home, and I didn't have, I was like, hey, I'm not gonna. I told him I don't have money. I told him I don't have money. He told them that I didn't have any money.
Yep.
So that they had to, because they were like, well, change your flight to see if they didn't want to pay for anything. The company didn't want to pay for nothing.
Yeah.
So the consulate, he was like, you have to fucking get him on a flight. So they got me a flight from Marseille back to Boston flight, because I was living in New Hampshire at the time.
Yep.
So Boston Logan Airport was the closest. It was only like 40 minutes from home.
Yep.
And so the flight was actually supposed to be in 2 days. So I still had time to I went, and the company only gave me I think it was 35 euro. No. Yeah. 35 euro.
Did you get a baguette, a nice French roll of bread, huh?
Yeah, a baguette and some fucking brie. That's all you could get for that.
Yeah.
But
the bottles of wine seem cheap. We get it for like what, €8 or whatever. The cheapest one, €7.
Don't even mention that to me. So when I flew out, so let's fast forward a little bit to that. Yeah. I bought a couple bottles of wine in the airport in Marseille.
Yeah.
Cheap, right? Like you said, they're cheap. And when I got to Amsterdam, they confiscated it all. Yo, motherfuckers confiscated.
Oh my God, dude. You can't win.
Bro, in Amsterdam, if you fly in from a regional airport around Europe, especially Marseille, since Marseille, there's a lot of North Africans and a lot of Muslims and a lot of people from a lot of Middle Easterners are there as well. So they have double security coming back to America. And the guy at the airport in Amsterdam was like, don't blame us, blame your government. This is your government's regulation. I was like, what the fuck, bro? But I was able to bring back some foie gras that I had.
Yeah.
But all those wines confiscated.
Yeah.
So, but going back to France, before that, the consulate guy, he took us all over Marseille. Went to the cathedral. I went shopping. I bought a bunch of clothes because I had money. I still had my wallet and stuff.
Yeah.
And I just bought a bunch of French clothes. Like, man, when I got back home, I was always decked out in all of this clothes.
Yeah.
And then fucking got back home, and it was like, everybody was asking me when I got back the same thing. Everyone was like, wants to know. I got on the radio in Boston, spoke about the situation, and was it not PLJ? I think that's New York. The Rock, one of those stations in Boston. And I spoke. Yeah, man. And then, and
so
that was
the takeaway. It sounds like is that kind of like we're seeing right now in society is that people, once they're taken out of their comfort zones, so let me ask you this, Mike. Are people inherently savage?
Yes. when push comes to shove and everything is lost, all your security, your needs, or the feeling of it is disappearing, and probably not has disappeared, but the threat of it disappearing, the threat of you not being able to protect it, the threat of you not being able to protect it by the way that you naturally are in society, that you have to actually get out of that zone, that comfort zone, and become more aggressive, or yeah, you become something that, not everybody. Now, if you are a person that has gone through so many traumas like that, in Western society, we look at it as traumas.
Mm.
And other societies, you look at it as that's life, right? You talk to somebody in Africa,
Yep.
in Mogadishu, they're going to tell you, hey, that shit happens,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Because they're living in constant freaking conflict. Some people in Medellin people that lived in Medellin in the 70s and 80s.
Mm.
Dang shit, bro. That's
Yeah.
that's life. Hey,
Yeah.
you're here? You're talking to me? You're good.
Yeah.
Now, if you talk to one of those family members that never been through anything, they're fucking shook. They're shook. And I was in the middle, right?
Mhm.
I'm in the middle.
Mhm.
It shakes you up because it shows you that anything could happen even outside of war. You know what I didn't like about that situation? At least in Iraq, I had a gun to protect me if something happened. But there, I didn't have anything to protect myself.
Yeah.
I was pretty much in the hands of a captain that wasn't even on the ship as he left.
I think I think he's locked up now.
Yeah, house arrest.
Oh, that motherfuckers, dude.
Yeah.
That's okay. Well,
Yeah,
I mean, glad we got this down too. So, ultimate goal. I think we got to end on that note right there, dude. I think that.
Yeah, man.
Because I think it ties totally into the conversation that we were having. I want to end it on that. I'm glad we got it on there. But like the fact is that like what we're seeing right now, some people can't understand. Like they're like it's the first time they've ever been uncomfortable in their life, and they're not thinking very rationally right now. And like
yeah, people are shook.
And
people don't
no matter if you're on a cruise ship that's sinking or you're back home, right, and it's just this comfort zone. It's getting shook, and
yeah, it feels like society right now is, in my opinion, it feels like in the beginning of the shaking of the ship and the hit.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I feel like we still have a lot to go. Like the whole event of what we're living right now is just the beginning. And it sounds fucking bleak, but this doesn't get fixed like that. What we're living is a symptom of something else. And we still have to get to that. And it's gonna get worse. We have an economy. Economy's on a little string, just hanging there, waiting to just fall. Right? We don't know what the hell's gonna happen once that, and then we have also tensions, clash right now. There's brewing. We have all this stuff going on. It's gonna get to that point, I feel. And what a takeaway from this is, do not be like those cowards that I spoke about that, would push kids out of the way to save themselves. Like, no, everybody, the more people that actually gets courage, because what defines a person from being civilized and a savage is courage. If you're courage and you're able to be disciplined and be strong, you could be a leader. And you don't have to do the savagery that we actually talk about. You could prevent that even more if you have others that can follow you. Now, if you have more people in your community and there's a system like that, then that community can move forward while everything around them is falling. And the more communities actually work that way, then the easier it will be to get over the other side of this. But if not, it's going to be just like the cruise ship, a huge wreck.
So on a last note then, because you probably answered half this question, but like you've had a unique experience, but like an after action review of the incident and your experience, like what do you attribute to your survival, and then what recommendations would you give to others for these kind of like chaotic situations going forward to survive? And I think you just touched on a little bit of it, of like the community, like supporting each other kind of thing, but like can you build on that last statement?
Yeah, well, what helped me to actually do well in that situation. I feel like I did very well because I could say with confidence in myself that I didn't lower myself and I didn't panic in a negative way of
Mm.
freeze or I everything I did was survive, and I didn't become a savage to survive. I actually put others before me, and I think that to myself made it a situation that I could talk about proudly right now and all the time, that I acted in a dignified way. And the only reason why I was able to do that was because of the training that I had in the military. My the staff sergeants that I had, great leaders. I could name a whole bunch of people, and I'll be here forever.
Yeah.
That just really just instilled that in me, and in all my other comrades. And so that plus my upbringing, I was raised in the South Bronx, and my dad was really tough on me, and everything was survival over there. And then I lived in Puerto Rico, and you know over there wasn't easy neither. It was Puerto Rico is, there's goods and bads, and you have to survive there as well.
Mm.
And that, I guess, molded me. Military really did well for me in that situation. So it's hard to tell other people that they could be the same without any training. But what they can do is understand that things could happen, prepare for it beforehand. Don't listen to authorities, because authorities aren't always right, and they're not always there to actually protect you, because the authority on the ship saved his ass before helping everybody else when that was his job. So you don't just go with your gut. Go with your gut, try to do the right thing, and you will get further than if you don't. That's the only thing I can say, man.
It's a beautiful way to look at it, Mike. It's like you literally, I'm glad we got that down, man. But I think it ties so much. And honestly, I think that gives me, that does like from here on out, that does give me like a real positive kind of view on the situation and the setting and stuff. Is that like you like, just like you've overcome this experience, I feel like a lot of other people are going to overcome this experience. But it's just about people understanding that they can't rely on others, and just like the kids on the island, and just like you, and in that you just have to go with the gut feeling, and then connect with the community. Connect like other people. That's like the sad thing about what's going on right now, is it's taking so many people away from each other and separating them so they can't talk. But like, it's going down in my neighborhood. I'm gonna go outside. We're all gonna connect, and we're gonna like come together, and then actually try to accomplish something. But
yeah, it's hard, right? Because everybody has, each household has their way of doing things and their way of thinking. But bro, right now too much is going on, and I sometimes we filter it out sometimes because we'll go crazy. But a lot of shit is happening.
Yeah.
And it's gonna get crazier. And I sound like a doomsday. I'm very much that type. I'm a doomsday type of person because I've been in so many situations that I'm always waiting for something to happen, so I am ready for it. And that's me. I'm always trying to be like, well, this could happen. Look, when the whole fucking pandemic shit was ruminating, it was a rumor. Oh, Trump was saying that that the China virus was coming. And then you had Nancy Pelosi in Chinatown out of San Francisco saying, "Come on, eat, everything's fine."
Mm-hmm.
Remember when that was going on?
We were covering it.
Getting masked, right? I was the one in the supermarkets here in Jersey, because Jersey was where it was spreading fast.
Yeah.
Bro, I was the one with the mask on. I was paranoid. And everybody would look at me like I was insane. I'm like tinfoil hat dude. But I was ready. I was getting ready. I was getting it, going shopping, getting the stuff. I was being safe. I don't know what the hell this was. The unknown. You have to prepare for the unknown.
It was very unknown back then.
Hell yeah, it was very unknown. And that was in February. I remember my friend Johnny was telling us all this stuff about China. And I was like, bro, and I was showing you the videos. I was like, this is happening. This is happening.
Yeah.
All right, let's prepare. And people just ignoring it. And I went above and beyond to make sure that I was ready. And I would wear masks at the supermarket with gloves all the time, and everybody would walk away from me. They were scared. Nobody was.
They weren't on board yet, right? Like now, though, it's like the opposite, though, right?
Exactly. Now it's the opposite, right? So so at that time, fucking mask and shit, and then everything was ready, good to go at home, and then they started, really people started to freak out about a week and a half after, and us at home, we were like, we're good. We're not like right now. We said we're not leaving this apartment. We're not leaving. We got everything we need. We're not going out into that world.
Yeah.
And while everybody was making fucking lines for days, buying toilet paper, whatever the fuck they think they needed, I was at home, like chilling, just watching, talking to you, working. Working on the businesses and shit, like just fucking working from and talking about all this craziness,
watching it unfold.
Yeah, bro, lockdown straight.
Yeah.
Bro, I hardly left that apartment, and look, and started to learn that it wasn't. It was like, damn, this seems something wrong here. I think they're exaggerating this. I still didn't go out there because the immense tenseness between people was. I wasn't comfortable with that. Like, I remember I drove once out there and everything seemed so strange. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go back home. This eerie feeling. There's no need for me to be out here. I'll stay home with my family. Nice. We're safe. We'll spend it together and that's it. And then once things got relaxed, went down to Florida for a month to get away from the madness. And in Florida, things were totally different. And when I got there, I was like, oh shit, like it doesn't even feel like there's quarantine here.
Yeah.
And when I got to Florida, I was the weird one because I was still like with the mask and the gloves. And then, I was like, you know what? I think this is too much. And I started to relax it. I was fine. I stayed there for a month, came back. I was fine, bro. I went, stayed in different places.
Yeah.
What we have to do is be safe. Once you figure out what's going on, filter whatever you think is right, filter the news, filter what people say. I'm not a fucking denier of what's going on. I think there's a fucking virus, and I think the virus came from a lab, and most likely it came from China. Maybe not, but I think it was developed as a genetically modified virus, and it fucking from what I've been listening of all the virologists and stuff, they say that it, from what they've studied, it came from a lab, and it incubates itself better within indoors. So I tend to not want to be in stores and shit because I don't need to, and I'll stick to that, and I stay safe and whatever. Prepare for what's next. That's it.
It's the game of the plan. Well. Everyone can do it with us. It's going to be it for tonight, Mike.
Yeah.
And we'll prepare. Y'all, you know what to do. Like, share, and subscribe. We've been here for quite a while now. And, again, the virus might be the difference of this year, but, like, the way that we were preparing for this year is still the same. And, like, the same outcome, bro, is happening. That's what blows my mind is it's like, this is a fact that you can't predict the future, and when you're trying to look at the markets and you're forecasting the economy and stuff, like you never know the full truth, but you know a route that it's going to go. And I still think if people are preparing like we've been talking about, they'd be in a pretty good spot right now. So
prepare.
They shouldn't really be surprised. Shouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool, man.
All right, man.
All right, y'all. We'll see y'all soon.
All right, talk to you guys soon.